Brilliance Audio.
Exiles by Ashley Saunders and Leslie Saunders, performed by Ida Relusco. It was a gorgeous night for trespassing. A thick coastal fog had just rolled in, veiling the chilly valley and the soaring peaks above. Red imagined the thin, whitish curve of the crescent moon hanging somewhere overhead as the tip of Mother Nature's fingernail, trying to scratch away the low-lying cloud obscuring her view. "Haven't you learned by now?" Rhett silently taunted her. "These are Yates' private mountains. No one gets to see what goes on in there. At least, not until tonight." Rhett stood at the center of the press of prying minds that had gathered outside the south entrance of Quest campus. The diffuse glow of red and blue strobe lights gave him the sensation of being trapped on a machine-fogged dance floor in some Sunset Boulevard club, but the rabid shouts of a dozen police officers snapped him from the trance. All around, reporters, gawkers, and a dozen or so tourists in hardihood shirts held their arms aloft like tripods, trying to capture a glimpse over the solid iron gate with their cameras. An elbow slammed into Rhett's kidney as the mob pushed him nearer to the gate. He felt an eye-watering tug of his hair, then pain across his back as a pair of feet awkwardly attempted to scale his shoulders for a better look. Rhett tossed aside an enthusiastic teen who had the look of a budding quester about him, then fended off a paparazzo who'd grabbed him by his throat, striving to take his place. The snoops were turning barbarous. Everyone smelled blood. And the pack of ravenous inquisitors would have their scandal fresh and unadulterated, before Yates's PR team could cut away all the juicy bits, scrub up all the stains. "Get back," the nearest cop warned, taking out his baton. "Sir!" a woman in full makeup and hair shouted, holding out a selfie stick to film the exchange. "Can you confirm that a distress call was placed from inside Adsum Academy? Home or jail, take your pick," a second officer bellowed. Would they really arrest those with media IDs? Rhett had his own forged press badge pinned to his sweater, but it was no matter. He had his own way in. He moved unnoticed to the edge of the hullabaloo and slipped into the mist. A security fence loomed out of the haze to his right. Steel pickets, 6 inches wide. Rhett squinted upward, noting the deceptively handsome bougainvillea trees lining the barrier. Vines wrapped arches over the high fence tops, their savage thorns masked by plush magenta petals that deterred any would-be climbers. In style, of course. Rhett hugged close to the fence, his fingers brushing the cold, thick-set pickets as he tiptoed farther into the dark. 40, 41, 42, he whispered aloud. Finally, after picket 55, his fingers grazed only air and he halted, smiling impishly. Rhett had created this secret person-sized entryway himself, 2 nights prior, at the tail end of a weeks-long bender. Turned out, sleep deprivation and the anniversary of his pop's funeral were the perfect combination to help Rhett upgrade from stalker to burglar. He'd been watching Yates for months, desperate to dig up dirt, find a crack in his seemingly shatterproof reputation. But a man who could not only profit from disaster, the Yates empire grew 50% richer in the aftermath of the 2040 Quake, but rebuild a demolished Los Angeles into his own image? That kind of man would not be so easily laid bare. The wail of an ambulance drifted down from Adsum Peak. Music to Rhett's ears. A siren's call of intrigue. He glanced behind him, yanked a neck gaiter over his lower face, and squeezed through the double-gap pickets and onto the Quest campus grounds. Before he could even brush the fallen bougainvillea petals from his shoulders, he heard a bright silvery trill as something, no, 2 somethings, zoomed past overhead. Rhett ducked, cursing, thinking security was onto him. But the drones were headed up Adsum Peak, not down. Just more snoops, then. Amateurs, he sighed, stretching his quads and groin before setting off at a brisk run toward the narrow switchback road that led up the dusty mountainside. In truth, Rhett was a sleuthing amateur himself. Self-taught, self-funded, a one-man team whose sole job and purpose was to damage Damon Yates. Not to kill him. No, that would be too easy. For Damon, not for Rhett. Rhett wanted the tech billionaire humiliated, disgraced, baking in an overheated prison cell. Friendless and penniless, forced to spend the rest of his purposeless life remembering Rhett Wood and his pops.